Right now, over 500,000 small groups are active in churches across the country. That represents millions of people gathering every week to study scripture, share meals, and build community. Yet, discipleship in the Western Church has stalled. Data suggests that 95% of these groups will never produce a single person who goes on to disciple someone else. Look back at the last small group you attended. Can you name one person from that circle who is currently discipling another person? If that is a difficult question to answer, you are seeing the result of a systemic disconnect. We have mastered the art of gathering people, but we are struggling to help them grow into reproducers. Transformation cannot be forced through a program. There is a specific distinction between gathering and discipling. Community occurs when people come together. Discipleship occurs when people are transformed and then leave that circle to transform others. In Matthew 28, Jesus gave a clear directive: go and make disciples. He specifically emphasized teaching them to obey everything he commanded. This moves the focus from gathering information to practicing obedience. This chart tracks the limits of the traditional model. Addition results in slow, linear growth, relying on constant recruitment. Multiplication functions differently. When disciples train others, the impact doubles. Over 10 years, a single reproducer can lead to over 1,000 others. This explains why Jesus spent 3 years with 12 people instead of focusing on the crowds. He was starting a movement designed to scale through people, not through platforms. The true reach of a ministry is found in its capacity to reproduce. Addition fills seats. Multiplication fills cities. Most groups fail to multiply for 3 reasons. First, they prioritize curriculum over action. They become spiritual book clubs where members acquire knowledge but rarely apply it to their lives. James 1:22 warns that listening without doing is a form of self-deception. If information is the fuel, obedience is the engine. Without a commitment to act, the fuel just sits in the tank. Second, most leaders fail to mention multiplication until a group is already ending. Because members aren't told they will eventually lead, they never prepare for the responsibility. Jesus set a different expectation in Matthew 4:19. He linked the invitation to follow him directly to the mission of fishing for people. The call to follow was always a call to be sent. The third failure is structural. Groups often rely on a single leader to carry the weight of teaching, hosting, and organizing. When everything depends on one person's energy, the group dissolves as soon as that leader faces burnout. Relying on professional-grade workbooks and expert facilitators bypasses the simplicity of the biblical model. Real growth happens through proximity. The relationship is the curriculum. Consider a different approach. 4 people began meeting in a living room with no budget and no professional training. They focused on a simple, repeatable process. Every week, they answered 3 questions. What is God saying to you? What will you do about it? How can we hold you accountable? Within 6 months, an office worker named Grace, who had no previous leadership experience, started discipling a coworker. That coworker joined the group. It grew to 8, and eventually split into 2 new groups. The movement grew because it was easy to replicate. Because the process was simple, even an unqualified person could take it and run with it. You can shift your group's culture this week with 3 changes. First, end every session by asking every member for one specific action they will take before you meet again. Follow up on those commitments every single week. Second, cast the vision immediately. Tell your group members today that the goal is for them to eventually lead their own group. Let them know you are training them to be sent. Third, distribute the responsibilities. Assign different people to lead the prayer, handle the follow-up, or facilitate the discussion. Ownership creates investment. Discipleship is a daily habit. A weekly meeting is only the starting point for a life lived in obedience. Consistency in the small things will always outperform a complex curriculum. If you're ready to start, subscribe to the channel and download the free Discipleship Group Starter Kit in the description. Then leave a comment. What is the primary struggle you faced when trying to lead a group? Making disciples is the calling of every believer, not just the professionals. You have everything you need to begin this week. Focus on building a process that every person in your care can carry forward. This is how you leave a legacy of making disciples who make disciples.